Welcome to our show. You're listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections, a place to learn about and celebrate creative arts therapy. Each week, we'll explore new ways that music, art, and dance can reach, connect with, and help individuals of all stages of health and wellness. Hi, I'm Bree, Beynon, a board-certified music therapist and the managing partner for the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute. Tune in as I interview professionals from healthcare and educational backgrounds on the impact of the creative arts. If you prefer to watch our live video stream, simply visit www.pbmti.com. Hello, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You are listening to and watching Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. I'm your host, Bree Beynon, a board-certified music therapist and neurologic music therapist here locally in Southeast Florida at the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute. I was away last week on vacation and was lucky enough to have two wonderful guest hosts joining the show, Brian and Elisa, both board-certified music therapists who did an excellent job. So I hope you were able to catch that. If not, video is archived on our website at pbmti.com. They did a wonderful job, so happy to have them here. Two previous guests coming back and to share their experiences with everyone as board-certified music therapists in the field. If you are new to this show, I want to just give you an idea of what you can expect. We are shining a bright light on the creative arts therapies in our area, expressive arts therapies, and basically any really good work that people are doing out there that's thinking a little bit outside the box, that's using their creative energy in a new way to reach and connect and to heal people. A lot of exciting stuff, and I've been able to come across a lot of things in this area that I didn't even know existed. It's incredible. I'm going to start today by talking about what really creative arts and expressive arts therapies means. And it's so vast that even myself, being a member of this profession, I'm not even aware of all the things that are out there. So I'm so excited to bring on four wonderful guests today, locally from the area, three therapists from the Sage Institute for Family Development. And they're going to talk about the work that they do there and also about some really, really exciting things going on in the community that they're promoting. And also going to be talking to members, the director and a therapist from the World and Eye Art Center, again, locally here in Broward County, and some really neat things going on there, how they're using art to affect good change in the world. What an important thing that is, and some outreach that they're doing. And they're actually going to be talking about a brand new program. So you're going to get to hear a lot of stuff for the first time tonight, which is so exciting. In addition to all of that, we have some great giveaways that I'm going to let everybody talk about because, again, they're out in the field, they're out in the community doing all this great work and want you to be a part of it. So not only are you going to get to learn about it, but also get to join in and experience it firsthand. So backing up a little bit, I just wanted to talk about the giant concept of creative arts therapies, expressive arts therapies, and the less formalized version of that when therapists are using their gifts, their strengths, and creativity to use it as a medium to reach their clients. Also, as musicians and artists using their gift to reach others as well. There's so many different levels of it. We talk about it a lot on this show. This month is actually Music Therapy Social Advocacy Month. January is. So we're doing a lot of promoting on our social media, on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, on our blog at pbmti.com about what it means to be an advocate for music therapy and get the word out there. This year specifically is very, very important in the state of Florida. There is a movement, nationwide movement really, to license and regulate music therapy as a profession. We're recognized nationally as under our board certification, but we aren't recognized in the state of Florida as an allied health profession. As licensure is not the easiest thing to get through at this point in our government. If you know anything about our local politics, you will understand that. We are able to work on a registry. So later this month, I'm going to have members of our government task force come on, talk about what that registry bill looks like, what that means for our clients, for increased access to care, for protection of our professional title, and hopefully be getting some updates from Tallahassee as well. We're going to be heading up to Tallahassee the first week of February for our second ever Music Therapy Hill Day, which is so exciting. Again, our bill is being backed locally by Senator Clemens out of Lake Worth. He's a co-sponsor of our bill. We're so thankful to him for that, and really excited to keep spreading the word about how much good this could do for the residents here in Florida when there's increased access to care for music therapy services. All right. So, creative arts therapies, what are they? We talk on this show so far, you've heard me talk to a number of music therapists, some art therapists. Next week, I have a dance and movement therapist on for the first time. But I actually learned something new about this grouping of professionals that I am a part of. Some additional things that are included in creative expressive arts therapies: drama therapy, poetry therapy, bibliotherapy. These are terms that synonymously describe the intentional use of poetry and other forms of literature for healing and professional growth. Play therapy, sand play therapy, and integrative approaches, which we talked about with Chelsea Johnson a few weeks ago, and her integrative department, specifically in hospice care, of combining music therapy with healing touch and Reiki, and what a comforting thing that was for the patients in hospice care. It's such a broad, exciting collection of fields to learn about, and it doesn't end there, because there are other professionals in the field who are taking little things from each of these modalities and using them in their care, and that's what we're going to learn about today also, just how far that reaches, where music, art, play, drama, poetry is able to connect others when maybe talking is not their preferred method of connecting. So I'm excited to learn about all of that today, because I'm learning right along with you all, which is really wonderful. Before we go to our first commercial break, I thought it'd be very fitting today to take a second and to recognize someone who musicians and music lovers everywhere, worldwide, are mourning this week and also celebrating the life of, and that's David Bowie. I think it came as a shock to a lot of us that he passed this week. And as we're celebrating all these professionals who are thinking outside the box and being creative and using their strengths to reach others in ways that are a little non-conventional, what better than to celebrate his life? So before we go to commercial break, I'm going to do a little acoustic rendition of one of my favorite David Bowie songs, Changes. Still don't know what I was waiting for. My time was running wild, million dead-end streets. Every time I thought I got it made, it seemed the taste was not so sweet. So I turned myself to face me, but I've never caught a glimpse of how the others must see fakers. I'm much too fast to take that test. Changes, turn and face the change. Changes, don't wanna be a richer man. Changes, turn and face the strange. Changes, gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. Watch the ripples change their size, but never leave the stream of warm impermanence. So the days flow through my eyes, but still the days seem the same. And these children that you spit on, they tried to change their worlds. They're immune to your consultations. They're quite aware what they're going through. Changes, turning faces strange. Changes, don't wanna be a richer man. Changes, turning faces strange. Changes, as you shame when you left your next in. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. Strange fascinations fascinate me. Oh, changes are taking the pace I'm going through. Changes, turning faces strange. Changes, don't wanna be a richer man. Changes, turning faces strange. Changes, pretty soon you're gonna get older. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. Said that time may change me, but I can't trace time. Ooh. We're so excited for you to join us for our show today. We're talking to therapists from the SAGE Institute for Family Development and also from the World and Eye Arts Center. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk to you right after this commercial break.
Mom's fall was a wake-up call. We knew she needed help, but we also knew she'd never leave her home.
With jobs and kids, we can't always be there. We weren't sure who to trust to help around the house and make sure she takes her medications.
We did our research and found our answer, Bright Star Care. Their home care teams are led by registered nurses, with help available 24/7.
Thanks to Bright Star Care, Mom can stay where she wants to be, at home.
For a standard of care that raises the bar, call 844 for Bright Star.
The Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute is a professional music therapy practice serving medical, community, and educational settings throughout Southeast Florida. With our experienced team of 11 board-certified music therapists, we use music and research-based therapeutic interventions to help individuals of all ages and abilities reach their goals and increase their quality of life. For more information on our services and programs, please visit our website at pbmti.com. Engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or call us at 561-747-9944. You are listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. If you'd like to join the conversation, the toll-free number is 888-565-1470. Now back to the show.
It's good stuff.
Hello, thank you so much for joining us. You're listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. I am your host, Bree Beynon, board-certified music therapist here in Southeast Florida with the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute. Before the break, I was starting to talk about the guests that we're going to have today. I'm so excited to introduce our first two guests to you. First, we have on Victoria and Daniel, who are SAGE Institute therapists. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Our pleasure.
Today. I can't wait to learn more about the work that you do. If you wouldn't mind just to give us, an idea of how you got interested in this work, if you could both share a little bit about your background. Daniel, if you want to start.
Sure. I actually consider myself an artist in therapist clothing. I grew up always really into performance arts, music, musicals, acting, the theater, and actually got my degree at NYU Tisch as an actor and majored in drama and pursued that and worked with, my first taste of art therapy was working with kids in public schools in New York City. We would bring arts activism into schools and hopefully I can talk about that a little bit later on. But essentially now I work as a therapist, and I love it. And there's so many parallels. So I think this program is really exciting if we get an opportunity to talk about how there's such an intersection between art and therapy, and not just music and not just they all kind of beautifully mix together. I'd say it's a good mix.
Absolutely, Victoria.
Hi guys, my name is Victoria, and thank you, Bree, for having us, and I'm delighted to be here. And I absolutely love the song that you introduced, and it speaks so much about the change. And the change is sometimes it's a difficult thing, and change played a big role in my life. I grew up in Russia, and I graduated from medical school in Russia, and I practiced medicine only for 3 months before I decided to change my life. And I moved to US, and now I'm working towards my doctoral degree in marriage and family therapy. And I see therapy not as a science, even though I come from a scientific background, I see it as an art. And art is such a big word, and I'm learning every day. And thanks to you, I've been introduced to a lot of new things that I will follow through and, learn more about. But as far as how I use art of language. And English is not my first language, but I am very curious about how language goes deep into our hearts, especially for people who speak different languages. Sometimes it's quite confusing. What's the meaning we create through one language or another? So when I work with my clients, I try to explore the language of it, and I use a lot of metaphors when I do that. And I think metaphors is a wonderful way to connect, and connection, that's what we need these days. And I love to be a therapist, and I'm working towards my license, and I'm just thankful to be here.
That's wonderful. And I love to hear, how you have such different backgrounds and started out in such a different path and still, ended up here, came here to Sage. So that, I think, speaks to the uniqueness of Sage. And so if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about, introduce us to Sage Institute.
Okay, great. So the Sage Institute for Family Development is a nonprofit organization, and our mission statement at this point, more than anything else, is to provide a private practice experience to those that otherwise might not have the means. I think a lot of us who have been through struggles or overcome obstacles have had the good fortune of being able to, have a private practice, reliable once a week or something else if that's the arrangement, and feel that there's that safe space for them where it's just really kind of a one-on-one therapeutic experience, or with a system or a family. And that's not always, practical or pragmatic or possible for a lot of families and a lot of individuals for all sorts of reasons. So I think what most makes us unique is our dedication to creating the private practice experience from the first call when you call Sage Institute for Family Therapy Development and get that call back and start scheduling appointments, to you come to the office, or sometimes we do some outreach. It's really about therapist and client and therapist, and not letting too many other aspects stand in the way of that basic human care.
As a group, we are concerned about safety first, and our goal is to create and provide that safe environment to all the clients who reach out to us. And as Daniel mentioned, we provide private practice type of environment, and we are all interns, but we do our best to keep it to really high standards, and just to work one-on-one and meet our clients where they are in anywhere they come to us.
Yeah,
any place.
And I think that you really pinpointed, beyond the mission statement, something that has been cultivated in our culture at the Sage Institute for Family Therapy and Development is because we're kind of a private practice setting, it allows us as therapists, we are given all sorts of creativity that once that safety has been established, we are not, needing to meet anybody else's quota or fill out any additional forms. You can come in and never even have to use insurance, or it can be so much more confidential. And as therapists, it's very freeing to be able to express ourselves and be creative and be spontaneous and try things and knowing that that's okay, because that's actually what the space allows. And we've got so many different backgrounds of therapists, and I think they all feel that freedom.
That uniqueness, like you said, is written right into the mission
Exactly.
of it. So how is it that you are able to operate in such a different way with the more accessibility as far as financials go, and like you mentioned, reduced paperwork, which is a thorn in the side of any therapist, you
Right.
know. So how is the operational approach different?
So there's a couple different components, obviously. One is Dr. Jill Morris, who is currently running the nonprofit, is amazing and has dedicated her life to creating private practice that runs the way you just described it. And she's put a lot, blood, sweat, tears into it. And we also have a lot of generosity. There's a space called the Transformation Project, which does amazing work and amazing therapy, and they provide office space for us that's very much, comforting and private practice, not at all cold or clinical in any way. And because most of us, I think if all of us are getting our PhDs as we're working as therapists, our connection to Nova University's family therapy PhD program, we are able to do this as part of our training. So it's kind of a win-win-win situation.
That's great. So it's a direct partnership with Nova then?
No, it's just that Dr. Jill Morris is an adjunct faculty member there, and she runs supervision there, and therefore that's kind of the common thread that we had in terms of how we got to know one another and how she got to see us work and decide that we'd be a good fit potentially for the SAGE Institute. And I mean, I run around feeling every day like I have, of all the 35 plus lists, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody, I swear, I feel every day like I'm the luckiest guy because I got picked to work at SAGE because of this freedom and this creative ability that we have that I think is just totally unique.
Just to add a little bit, how we make this possible is just through our ability to connect with the community. We connect with other therapists, established therapists who run their practices, from the business standpoint, but they feel that they could, dedicate some of their space or some of their time to give us a chance to provide people who really want to come to see us this chance of therapy, this gift of therapy and art. And, just through connection with the community. Community is a big part of our existence. And, we are a new organization, and we're just going to continue to build and connect with people and, hopefully do our best to give back as well.
Which is why, Bree, we're so grateful for your program and your warm invitation to have us on, because it really is about reaching out to the community. Absolutely.
That's right.
And I so appreciate you saying that. And for those of you who do listen week to week, that's my favorite word to mention, is just community, bringing people together. I could tell that from just the phone and email conversation I had with Dr. Jill, that's a theme for her as well.
Absolutely.
Which is so exciting. And speaking of all of that, the reason I even knew to reach out to her is that being at a network opportunity, saw this flyer that you're about to explain to us and got really excited about a program that was being offered. Took a look at who was offering it and just wanted to call and find out more information and introduce myself. So won't you tell us a little bit about what you guys are going to be offering?
Sure. So January 22nd, this incredible event is going to go down. It's Patch Adams. You may have heard of him from the movie. And also just in real life, you want to talk living and breathing art and creativity as a form of caring and curing and providing therapy to people. He is just Patch Adams. Just log on, just Google search it. You'll see that he's dedicated his life to doing some really, really brilliant, fascinating work. And we've been lucky enough through Dr. Jill's connections and efforts and to actually have him come down to South Florida on January 22nd. He's going to be at Sawgrass, and we're going to have an event, and we're going to all be able to play, clown around with Patch Adams. And, that's what he's famous for, is that clowning, bringing joy to the faces of those that otherwise would be feeling pretty sick and miserable. So it's amazing for us to be doing this.
That's so exciting that you guys are able to bring that to the community and again, connect us with that and a whole nother approach to caring and smiling and laughing, just bringing joy to others, which is so exciting. plan to be there myself. We're going to bring some of our therapists from PBMTI. Are really excited about it. Before we cut to our next commercial break, you have something very exciting for our listeners and viewers.
So, if you are listening now and you call and you can tell us the name of the actor who played Patch Adams in the film, we will be giving you a free ticket to come to the event January 22nd, the Patch Adams event. A free ticket to come and, as you wish, if you just happen to know the name of the actor that played Patch.
You're really getting set up for a slam dunk here. So, really such a generous offer. So call at 888-565-1470. Call into the show with the name of the actor who played Patch Adams in the famous film, and you will get to see Patch Adams speak about his life's work, what amazing things are going on, and also hopefully get to meet some of the wonderful therapists that we have here from Sage. The conversation always continues online as well. If you have any questions, please, PBMTI on Twitter, Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute on Facebook. Really quickly, how can we're going to reiterate this later, but how can we reach out to you guys?
So if you want to reach out to the Sage Institute Family Therapy Development, you can reach out to us at sageinstitute.org or at the following number, which is 561-558-2817. Again, if you want to have that private practice experience or know someone who might benefit from it, it would be 561-558-2817, which is the same number if you're interested in reserving tickets to see Patch. And you can also do that through the sageinstitute.org as well.
Perfect. That was my next question. So awesome. Very cool. Thank you guys both for being out. We're going to talk to you, follow up a little bit later, just to reiterate some of the exciting stuff you're talking about. After this commercial break, we're going to be talking to the World and Eye Art Center. So exciting. We'll see you then.
Mom's fall was a wake-up call. We knew she needed help, but we also knew she'd never leave her home.
With jobs and kids, we can't always be there. We weren't sure who to trust to help around the house and make sure she takes her medications.
We did our research and found our answer, Bright Star Care. Their home care teams are led by registered nurses, with help available 24/7.
Thanks to Bright Star Care, Mom can stay where she wants to be, at home.
For a standard of care that raises the bar, call 844 for Bright Star.
The Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute is a professional music therapy practice serving medical, community, and educational settings throughout Southeast Florida. With our experienced team of 11 board-certified music therapists, we use music and research-based therapeutic interventions to help individuals of all ages and abilities reach their goals and increase their quality of life. For more information on our services and programs, please visit our website at pbmti.com. Engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or call us at 561-747-9944. You are listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. If you'd like to join the conversation, the toll-free number is 888-565-1470. Now back to the show. Hello, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're listening to and watching Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. I'm your host, Bree Beynon, board-certified music therapist here in Southeast Florida with the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute. If you've just joined us, I hope you can catch the recording of this later because we're just learning a lot of really exciting things about different things going on within our community, different ways of reaching, connecting people, bringing joy outside of the box, which is kind of a neat theme we've got going on today. So we've been talking to some therapists from the Sage Institute, and they told us about an amazing event that they have coming up featuring the one and only Patch Adams. The actual Patch Adams is going to be here on January 22nd. And if you are just tuning in, we want you to know we do have one giveaway going so far. There's another one coming up. But so far, if you call into the show, 888-565-1470, with the actor's name who played Patch Adams in the famous movie, you could win a ticket to his event here in Sunrise, Florida. Sunrise, right? Next Friday? Sawgrass? Okay, thank you. On the 22nd. So call in It's an alley-oop, friends. We know who played Patch Adams. Come on. So that's a really generous offer. Next, we're talking to Jean and Helen. Helen is also with the Sage Institute, but she has also connected us, that community, again, with the World and I Arts Center. And thank you, ladies, both so much for coming on. I'm so excited to learn more about this. If you wouldn't mind, maybe, Jean, you are the owner and director of World and I. If you wouldn't just mind, just give us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, my background is initially as an artist. I started as a sculptor, and my art always had a lot of storytelling and character in it. And I started to want to wear it. So I began to move with masks and with puppetry and body puppets, and it became a form of visual theater. And then I started to incorporate arts education. I've been in the school system as a drama educator, as a music art educator, and really became interested in the mixture between community education and the arts, and wanted to bring that into an art center, which I developed about 5 years ago in Fort Lauderdale.
How exciting. And Helen, how did you get involved with all of this?
Well, like Daniel, I actually trained originally in the theater. My undergraduate degree was in drama. And while I was there training, I found that I was much more interested in the process of creating theater than I was in the end product. So I did, all kinds of crazy experiments with my fellow actors and got really interested in what happens when you're free to play without that being about necessarily having it be something that you're performing for other people. Like, how does that change you to be doing that? After studying, I was fortunate enough to live in some different countries and teach English as a foreign language. And while I was doing that, I always incorporated theater into the curriculum. So I worked, for example, for a couple of years in Japan, and I had students who were, housewives who were there to learn English. And during my stay there, we ended up creating all these puppet plays together and performing them for the kids, and just watching what happens when people, have these tools that they can play with and come alive with. I was very excited. So I wanted to go back and study drama therapy, and started training in the family therapy department at Nova University. And then completely fell in love with that. So that's where I am now as a Sage therapist. And fortunately for me, met Jeannie, and we've been working together for the last few years.
Very exciting. As just, again, I love to hear the background and how we kind of all come to the same place. I mean, traveling all over the world, and what unique opportunities that gives you to bring that perspective here as well is so exciting. Tell us about the World and I Art Center. It's such even the name is just like intriguing. I can't wait to hear more about what it is, the work that you do there.
Yeah. Well, it's been around for about 5 years in Fat Village Arts District, which is about 6 square blocks of different kinds of studios. And World and I is about supporting local artists developing original work. I was frustrated as an artist. I was a single parent with a job and doing my own work, and unable to find a real community in the Miami scene. I didn't have the time to do the networking, and I wanted to build a community place, a sense of community in a place for artists. And so really it grew out of that frustration. I thought, I'm going to make it happen, So I opened the doors, and I work with all kinds of different artists, with performers and visual artists, and wanted to create an inclusive kind of an atmosphere for the arts, and also looking at social issues through the arts was very important to me. That's why I called it World and I, because it's a way of looking at the world through different people's vision.
Can you talk a little bit more about, when you say the role of art in social issues, what does that mean? How does that work?
Well, I see the role of the artist as a kind of a truth teller. I see a lot of things that disturb me in the world. And, personally, I feel like it's very important to address those things, but not in a didactic way, but through my own sort of exploration through movement and storytelling and visual theater. And so personally, I began to explore that. And also, as a teacher, I feel like it's very important for different voices in the community to be heard. So I've worked with bilingual theater and multicultural theater and with elders, with AIDS prevention, and in the school system as well. So for me, it all goes together somehow. My own artwork and reaching out to the community.
So this must have felt so good for you to realize that this was happening. It just kind of ties together so many things from your background that you expressed were so important to you. How does that fit into the World and Eye Center?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's kind of when, I don't know, I think for people who grow up who are interested in creativity, but then you're also interested in this whole like kind of therapy thing. And like my dad's a priest, so I grew up with a sense of, like, what does it mean to belong to a member of the community and how do I want to participate in that? When you, I don't know, it's not like wanting to be a doctor or an airline pilot or something. I never quite knew what language to put to who I wanted to be. I'm actually, personally, I'm working towards a dissertation about looking at the parallels between clowning and therapy and the playfulness involved in both of those things and what it's like when you can create environments for people where they feel free to play. So for me, meeting Jeannie and people like Daniel and Victoria, it's just, you kind of want to pinch yourself because it's like, oh, there are other people who want to do this thing. Still not quite sure what to call it yet, but it's what keeps your juices flowing. So
how exciting. Absolutely. So you must be really excited about the event with
Patch Adams. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm going to be following him around the whole night, recording everything he says.
Yes. How exciting. I completely appreciate what you're saying. A lot of times you'll meet music therapists that have gotten master's equivalency because they had no idea that it was even an option, in undergraduate. I felt very lucky that I did, and only through doing my senior paper in high school was like, I really want to do music and I want to do therapy. I just typed the words and I'm like, that's a job? That's a real thing people do? And happened to have a college a half hour from my house that was Nazareth College up in Rochester, New York, which, so a lot of us actually down here are from there, which there's 73 schools nationwide that offer music therapy degrees. But still, it's, even though we've been around for 60 years, it's relatively new, especially when you're thinking of healthcare professionals. So it's so exciting when you meet others that get it and understand. Because so many times, as you may be saying to others too, what's music therapy? What is that? What do you do all day?
I really feel like what you're talking about ties to something that for me is really important about this work. And that is about the sense of belonging in community. When you feel like a deep human level connection with another human being, like, you get me, you understand. Yeah. How important is that to therapists and to the client? And like what Jeannie and I are working towards now, we've been working on productions together for the last few years to do with exclusion and belonging. And now we're working on workshop projects. So taking that out into the community. So you're working with groups of people. And I think, all kinds of different expressive arts can give people the opportunity to say, this is who I am. This is what's important to me. And to be in a group of people who can witness that, recognize that, be an audience to that, I think that can be, tremendously important to people's sense of, the value in life and meaning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and specifically, we're working on something called Telling Tales, which is something that's going out to the elder community and to honor life stories. And to eventually start bringing that into an intergenerational format where there's an exchange between children and elders. And for me personally, I was excited about this because my dad is in that age bracket, and I've been helping him to look for places to live. And I'm kind of appalled at what we do around the care of people who have gotten older. It's sort of like, putting out to pasture instead of revering and learning from. And so, I really wanted to do this project with Helen.
And this is exactly why I honestly have the show because the opportunity to introduce people locally, nationally, wherever people are viewing or listening from, to these types of things that are going on, I think that's key. I think oftentimes, as caregivers or professionals, we don't know, what's out there. Just like we were saying, you don't feel like maybe anyone understands what it is that you do, or this. You think it's the coolest thing in the world. It needs a megaphone, right? We've heard about our field. You're the best kept secret in healthcare. You never want to be the best kept secret, right? You want people to know it's out there. So I'm so glad that you're here talking about this here locally in our community. Can you speak a little bit more about exactly what, I know you said it's focusing on working with the elderly, telling their stories, but are there other workshops that you offer as well?
That's the primary one that we're working on right now. Like
Great.
we've been developing something to go into the schools, and there are lots of different populations we want to work with. But Jeannie and I both happen to have this passion for this particular project. So, we're interested in working in residential communities, and the whole, like a big part of the point of this is it's about connecting communities, like you were saying before. So we're looking to work with groups of people who their stories become a resource for younger generations in schools and libraries and whatnot. So
exciting. So you would actually go on site, partner with the facility,
Yes.
and go to them. And is that something that is that a grant funded program, or would you be looking for funding for that to make that happen? Yeah.
yes, and yes.
Sure. Yeah. I hear you. I completely understand.
And then Jeannie has lots going on at World and I, all kinds of programming that's like just ongoing throughout the year.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about some of those programs?
Sure. Well, in Fat Village, there's always an art walk, and that's a free event. And it happens the last Saturday of the month. And you can go in and out of different studios. There are exhibitions of all kinds of different artists. So we have one coming up January 30th, and we have also a coffee house performance venue, which has different genres of artists, puppeteers and spoken word and singer-songwriters, all kinds of different performers that we have coming in. And we also have workshops that are coming through periodically. We have a Native American drum healing circle coming up as well. So we have lots of different programming, and people can find out about that at worldandi, spelled EYE.com.
That's wonderful. I'm being from West Palm, I'm not as familiar with the Broward area. Where you said Fats Arts District, I don't know. Can you explain where that is, if anyone doesn't know?
Yeah, it's between Broward and Sunrise.
Okay.
And it is off of Andrews. If anybody knows McGuire's Pub, it's near there.
Okay.
So that's and you can, on the website, there's a place that says location. You can find it.
Okay, wonderful. We're going to cut to a quick commercial break. We're going to come back, learn more about things that are going on in the community, and we have another giveaway to talk about. So we'll see you after this quick commercial break.
Mom's fall was a wake-up call. We knew she needed help, but we also knew she'd never leave her home.
With jobs and kids, we can't always be there. We weren't sure who to trust to help around the house and make sure she takes her medications.
We did our research and found our answer, Bright Star Care. Their home care teams are led by registered nurses, with help available 24/7.
Thanks to Bright Star Care, Mom can stay where she wants to be, at home.
For a standard of care that raises the bar, call 844 for Bright Star.
The Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute is a professional music therapy practice serving medical, community, and educational settings throughout Southeast Florida. With our experienced team of 11 board-certified music therapists, we use music and research-based therapeutic interventions to help individuals of all ages and abilities reach their goals and increase their quality of life. For more information on our services and programs, please visit our website at pbmti.com. Engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or call us at 561-747-9944. You are listening to Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. If you'd like to join the conversation, the toll-free number is 888-565-1470. Now back to the show. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're listening to and watching Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections, a place where we get a wonderful opportunity to shine a bright light on some really exciting things going on in our community. I know I personally have learned a lot about things here in our backyard that I didn't know about. I feel really thankful for that. So thank you to all of our guests for coming on, sharing about what it is you do in our community is so exciting. So I hope you got a chance to learn about some things as well, and we'll continue to follow up with these wonderful people doing great things. So the last segment today, we're just going to kind of talk about, again, different ways people can get engaged with you all. I want to mention before we run out of time, so we do have one active giveaway going on. So far, calling in 888-565-1470 for a ticket to an evening with Patch Adams. That's right, Patch Adams. The real Patch Adams is going to be Sawgrass. So this is an event on January 22nd. So if you want to call in, you need to be able to answer who was the actor who played Patch Adams in the famous movie. Come on, we're setting you up here. It's an easy one. If we don't get a caller in tonight, we're going to roll it over to our Twitter. So check us out. Our handle is PBMTI. So we have a second giveaway. We're so lucky tonight. So Jeannie, if you don't mind sharing with what you'd be offering anyone who wants to call in, and if you're going to make it tough with a trivia question.
I forgot what the trivia question is. Oh, that's okay.
I think it had to do with puppetry.
Okay, good. All right, but before I tell you the trivia question, what it is the Coffee House performance coming up on February 13th. And this is a chance to see skilled artists that are presenting new original works. They're about 15 minutes each. And so we have some singer-songwriters, some a comedian, some puppetry, and I'm not sure quite what else, but I will know. Some kind of playwriting or literary event. And so the question is, who was the original developer of Sesame Street?
Ooh.
There are many people that have been involved with Sesame Street, but who was the mastermind behind Sesame Street?
Okay, and just to reiterate one more time, what if they get that correct? What do they win?
Thank you for feeding me that. Okay, so if you get that, you get 2 free tickets to a coffee house performance.
And if I'm not mistaken, that would be the day before Valentine's Day.
It is. So you could bring your love, whoever that is.
Absolutely. What better way to spend Valentine's Day? That's
or
great.
meet your love.
Or meet your love, yeah.
Or a family member.
So many options. Yeah, absolutely. So many options. That's awesome. Thank you all for your generosity for that. Very exciting. Okay, so we've got 2 chances now. If you want to call in before the end of the show, we have like 7 minutes left. 888-565-1470. First question is, who played the actor in who played Patch Adams in the movie Patch Adams, and who was the original developer of Sesame Street? Very good. If you don't call in, we're going to roll it over to Twitter, so check us out there. In our last few minutes, I'm going to stick with you, Jeannie. Just again, how can people get in touch with you if they're interested? One, in coming to your center and are going to a workshop, or 2, if they're an artist who wants to showcase.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about that. So, World and I, the website again is www.worldandi.com. All the information is on there, where it is. You can also look on Fat Village on Facebook to figure out where it is. And if you are an artist, we're always looking for artists and performers. So you can email me. I'm not sure if I want to give out my email.
But contact PBMTI.
Okay.
And I'll put you in touch.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you can then send in JPEGs of your artwork or arrange a meeting where I would listen to your whatever it is you perform.
Mm-hmm.
So
great. Thank you. Thank you. So if someone who works at a nursing facility or a caregiver is interested in your outreach program, same idea, just to contact you through there. Great. Okay, Daniel, I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but if you again would run down how people can get in touch with you all at the Sage
Absolutely.
Institute and talk about our Patch Adams event one more time.
Okay, so if you're interested in Patch Adams' The Joy of Caring event on January 22nd, or if you're interested in having that private practice experience for you or someone you love, or a family you love, or someone you're falling in love with in 3rd 14th, you can call the same number for both. It's 561-558-2817. Again, the Sage Family Institute for Family Development is hosting Patch Adams' The Joy of Caring on January 22nd, 561-558-2817, or sageinstitute.org. And there's one other event that I'd really like a moment to talk about. In the spirit of being artistic and creative, there's this really cool project going on that's really outside the box called Single Session Therapy Consultation, and it's absolutely free every Friday from 3 to 9, January 15th through April 1st at Nova Southeastern University's Brief Therapy Institute. What it is you and whoever else you want to bring come in and get 1 hour of free therapy with no expectation that you'd come back or that the problem couldn't be solved in that 1 hour. It's kind of a very interesting opportunity, and it's a lot of fun and spontaneous, and you can call to make an appointment for a single session therapy appointment at 954-262-3030.
Very cool. Yes, hi.
Yeah, I just wanted to add for the Patch Adams event, there are a couple of different options that you can register for. There is a happy VIP cocktail reception from 5 to 7 o'clock. So you actually get to sit around and drink cocktails and talk to Patch Adams, which is I'm very excited about. I hope nobody signs up, so I can just go by
guys. Yep.
If you just want to go to the lecture, which is going to be amazing, that one starts at 7 o'clock. So you can sign up for both of them or just the lecture.
And what are the different levels for that, and how can they can purchase tickets through your website, right? There's an Eventbrite there.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
And
Sage
there's
Institute.
wonderful.
.org.
.org.
Very, very important. Very cool. A lot of amazing things going on in the community. A lot of exciting things. We've just been focusing on just the goodness that comes out of thinking outside of the box, you know, and we've talked about our backgrounds, being from all different areas, and finding that one focus of how art, music, puppetry, poetry, whatever it is, your modality, how to focus that in a direction that's helping others, help others feel good, makes us feel good, right? So again, thank you all so much for being on. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, may I share a little story?
Please
it just
do.
popped in my head when I was thinking about coming on here. Jeannie and I work with puppets, as we said, and I have this full body puppet where the head and the shoulders and everything are something that are constructed that I wear, and then the legs are my own legs. And we had this piece that Jeannie created where I'm this old man who kind of hobbles around the stage, and then this amazing, like, high-tempo Latin music comes on, and I start, kind of dancing. Now, I love to dance, but I'm not a skilled dancer. I just kind of bounce around. So I performed this like many, many times. And then recently we happened to watch a video of myself dancing as a puppet. My legs were doing things that I did not know that they could do in the puppet. And I just thought to myself, I think that's, for me, one of the most powerful experiences I have had of being playful and creative and expressing myself in a way I didn't even know was possible. And so sometimes it's not the audience out there that you're doing this for. It's just what happens to you.
And in the Patch Adams philosophy, probably all you need is that red clown nose.
That's right.
Right? And you don't need the whole puppet.
Yeah.
It's for your legs to start moving in different directions.
Yeah, to get you outside the box. Yeah.
And for you to have had that experience, having creativity and art and movement and all of that being a part of who you are your whole life, imagine, I mean, as I'm sure you do all the time, just what that does for our clients who maybe aren't geared that way, and then realize, I hear it all the time. I don't sing, I don't play, and then but you do, you know, and then all of a sudden you're singing and you're having fun and you're moving and you're playing, So it just, I love that you shared that story, and us as professionals having that moment, it just must be that much more amplified and freeing. For our clients to have that experience as well. And for us to know at the end of the day that it's these modalities that gets to bring that out of them. is so exciting. All right, we are wrapping up our show tonight. Guys, thank you all so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank
being
you.
here.
It's
It's
really
such a
appreciate it.
pleasure
that
talking to you all.
create this space and are so inviting. It's so cool. I had a blast. Thank you, Bree.
Thank you. My pleasure. Again, if you didn't catch all the numbers and emails and websites to reach everyone, just reach out to PBMTI. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. Please take advantage of some of these exciting things going on right here in Southeast Florida. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next week. Take care. To Palm Beach Music Therapy Connections. We hope you enjoyed today's program and discovered new ways to bring music, art, and dance into your home or workplace. Please find a copy of today's show at pbmti.com. If you have any questions for our guest or myself, please email me at Bree, that's BREE, at pbmti.com, or call the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute at 561-747-9944. Tune back in next week for an all-new live show. See you then.